What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I'm joined by C-Reacts with some Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 talk, and today we're going to specifically dive into the human transformation and go over everything!
No, that's not, don't let that become a thing. Guys, don't let this become a thing. Don't let it become anything! Don't!
To explain what the everything thing is from, we had a fight that we posted earlier, or recently, this week. I don't know when this video is going up. If you want to watch that, I will link it in the description below. There was a joke, and everything is going to be a thing that we're going to say from now on. But today specifically, we're going to dive into the human race of Xenoverse 2. Now, first of all... Just humans? Just humans, yeah, just humans. The only reason why I'm doing just humans is because a lot of people are not really... Well, not I say a lot of people. I just saw a loud minority of people, I should say, on Twitter and comments, stuff like that. They don't really understand the flying nimbus and the power pole weapon that's used for the human awakening in Xenoverse 2. Now, one thing we don't either. We don't either. Yeah, we don't either. For all we know, there's more stuff planned. I mentioned in my video there's possibly we could probably see other weapons as well. Maybe it's just beyond the power pole. We could use maybe swords, weapons, stuff like that. Because thing is, or your dick, yeah. In Dragon Ball, in the Dragon Ball universe, we've never really seen human transformations outside of potentials unlocked, but that don't really count because that was like an outside force, like Guru unlocking Krillin and Gohan's potential, and of course, you know, we saw Elder Kai unlocking Gohan's potential, and he's half human. You get the picture. Like, we never really seen the transformation. So what do you do? Well, also Buff Roshi,
yes.
Which we could even see that too. I have no clue. Like, I'm not, you know, trying to say something like I know it, but I literally have no clue. We're solely just responding to the flying nimbus and the power pole, just because
the first look.
Yes, the first look. Both C-Reacts and myself, we saw the great and crazy potential in it. Now, first and foremost, the human race was the most overpowered race in Xenoverse 1. A lot of people that didn't play, who spent too much time playing the game, probably don't understand that. I mean, you probably went with the go-to races such as the Frieza race, the Saiyan race, Namekian and Majins, but a lot of people overlooked the human race. Now, C-Reacts, I want you to explain what made the human race the strongest in the game, because you play with them way more than I have, and you can probably break it down way better than I can. So why don't you go ahead and do that first, just so people can kind of get caught up with the past game before you get into the next game.
Yes. So there was a lot, like you said, there's a lot of people who didn't really play Xenoverse. Like, you can tell if somebody played competitively or not. Humans were underlooked at first because, you know, you have the Saiyans like, oh, pretty Super Saiyan, and Frieza's race, oh, I get to be Frieza race, and then so on and so forth. So everybody kind of neglected humans at first. But then when people started to pick up humans and actually utilize them, there's some people who use them right off the jump. But when you play competitively with them, you will quickly find out that they were definitely the most well-rounded, most balanced characters out of all of them. Like Saiyans, they have low health, but they have high like attacks. Majin Buu was very defensive. They had the invincibility frames, etc., etc. And I'm not going to go over all the races, but humans were just like perfectly balanced, and they had automatic ki regeneration, which is Saiyans didn't have. You had to be fighting or have maximum charge. They had a whole bunch of advantages, and their combos, when strung together correctly, were just nasty. There's a lot of advantages that humans had over all the other races that not a lot of people think about or really considered, because, you know, they're just like, oh, Saiyans have transformation. It's not about transformations. Like, if they didn't even give humans a transformation in Xenoverse 2, I would still be afraid of a human, because humans, when played correctly, are the most dangerous of the races to me.
That's not even, that's not even you without, that's without using potential lock, because when you even add that into the factor, you basically can stay in your potential lock the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. And they were nasty. Like I said, in the competitive scene, like with you know, I'll name drop a couple people, like with Phantom, Kashami, like people that play very competitively. They know, like, if you see a human, you're like, okay, this person, like, they will consider you like, oh, you're using this overpowered character sort of thing, because they are the top tier of the races. Right.
So with that said, since the humans were already at the top, what do you do with them that makes them differently? Well, Frieza race gets the golden form. They get the speed boost, which is disgusting, by the way, because it doesn't just speed you up, but it speeds up your attacks as well. So you can link melee attacks into key attacks, into super attacks, into ultimate attacks. And it's so fast, it's really hard to dodge. So that's what the Frieza race gets.
Yes.
The Majin race, they get the Kid Buu form, the pure form, that's what it's known as. And with it, they get the tankiness. They seem to lose a bit of speed, but it looks like they get somewhat of super armor from what I saw in the trailer and the gameplay in the last couple weeks. I mean, I can't quite confirm how different it is, but it definitely does look like they're more defense based. So you have to really plan out how to hit them, because if you get too close, you'll get hit, and if you try to do your best, you might not do that much damage. The Namekians always was the big one. They get the giant form, but again, I see that.
That is so iffy for me. I just don't know. Like I said, I know we're not going over Namekians now, but 3-on-3, 6 Namekians on the World Tournament stage. That's all I'm saying. How's that going to feel?
It's going to be just a giant, yeah. But the way outside of Namekians is they obviously probably have special advantages, such as not being able to get grabbed, like we saw in Tenkaichi 3, and maybe super moves such as Super Drain, which is obviously C-React's favorite move. Can't be using them. I don't know how it's going to work, but from what I saw in Giants before, they have their advantage, but they're kind of slow. With that said, if you go into your great Namekian form in front of me, I'm just probably going to blow you up with a Spirit Bomb. Yep. And then, of course, you got the Saiyans who go into Super Saiyan 3, which both me and theorized.
I gotta
theorized.
I gotta make a series called Theoryx.
That's funny. That's a good name. You're welcome. I want half the profits. No, but we saw with the Saiyans, basically they get a boost, and if it's anything like Budokai, the series, you get like your base form is 100%, Super Saiyan 1 is 110%, 115 for Super Saiyan 2, and then 125% for Super Saiyan 3. That kind of boost. So with that said, you know, you can get more on the damage heavy side with the Saiyans. Now, you see all that, and then you see humans like, oh, they get the power pole. Well, C-Reacts, why is it dangerous? The first and foremost, I want you to explain the dangers of reach, because I always made fun of Toa. I always made fun of any character that had like a staff or something.
I'll fuck someone up with Toa.
Yeah, I realized the thing that Toa has, for example, and same thing with Whis, is they have a extra foot of reach, where the problem is if you fight with someone like Teen Gohan, the kid version, or Kid Gohan even, or even the Cybermen, or anybody that's small, they have tiny arms, which means you have to get really, really close. Yes. But if you get too close, you'll get burned. Now, take an already super overpowered race, the human race, add them the ability to use weapons such as the power pole, if there's anything else more added, I don't really know. Let's just say power pole for now. Add the power pole, and now they have reach. They have damage and reach, and that, my friend, ladies and gentlemen, is a very dangerous combo. Now, I don't know what the purpose of the Nimbus is going to be, whether or not it's just going to be more of a pretty
thing. I think it might be just visuals, but at the same time, like I said, we only saw like 2 seconds of this, so I mean, that's what we're going off of. So if there's anything released a little bit later, just know that we're going off of the 2 seconds we saw. But I think the way it looked is, I think it's going to be one of those things where like you're extremely hard to predict, sort of thing.
Right.
Like, you know how the Majin Buu transformation, when he turns into the pure Majin Buu, when he started flying around, he was like in that wrecking ball kind of state. Yeah. And then whenever you touched him, you got fucked up. I wouldn't be surprised if you got like a speed boost with the Nimbus, and you had like the reach. So like you're gonna be twirling this power pole around and moving fast. So like when somebody tries to close in on you, you might be, I don't know, like we're gonna have to really see how it functions. But it definitely, like, don't discredit it. Maybe from a logistical standpoint, like, and from a visual standpoint,
it does look silly. Yeah, it does look silly.
But at the same time, it's a video game, you know? Like, can you, like, you're going to be, just look at it like this. Like, imagine if you were a kid, right? And I know people aren't, not everyone's a kid anymore, but I can only imagine if somebody approached me and they're like, hey, I'm going to give you this Dragon Ball game. You get to make your own character. You get to ride on the Nimbus and smack people with the power pole. I would, and imagine if you get to use the power pole like the power pole in the series. Like, you actually get to extend it. Because people forget that that's the power pole. So, like, there's a lot of things that you might get with this. Granted, and note, something that Dino and I actually thought about at the same time right before we started recording, we only saw a female human turn into that. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, we have not seen what, the males can do. For all we know, males might get buff form, whereas females get the power pole.
Yep.
Or they might get multiple things. I have no idea. Like, the thing is originally when they talked about the humans and how the transformations were going to be revealed soon, they said surprises, plural.
Yep.
Human surprises.
Humans have surprises.
Yeah, and again, this is not us saying this because we think we know something, because we literally have no clue. I'll be honest, I knew about the Great Namekians back in, I believe it was March. And it's kind of funny because when the interview came out with Hirano-san a couple weeks ago, he was like, yeah, no giant, characters. I was like, oh, well, I guess I was lied to.
Yeah.
But, I was told originally there's no transformations for humans. So they like literally meant like no actual transformations, like, you know, going Super Saiyan or the equivalent to like golden form, stuff like that. But like the humans are still getting a awakening. It just theirs is different. And the beautiful part about all these awakenings is due to the fact that it completely changes the way the game is.
It makes transformations actually feel like when anybody I don't care which race you choose, when you transform, whoever you're fighting is going to be like, oh shit, I might need to transform. Whereas in Xenoverse 1, it wasn't like that. Like, you in Super Saiyan, you're like, oh, this guy, you know, he has infinite ki, I'll just watch out for his supers a little bit more cautiously, keep an eye on my stamina. But
you know
now,
what this reminds me of?
It's terrifying.
This reminds me of, this is kind of weird comparison, but it reminds me of Storm 4, or I guess the Storm series, because in the Storm series, when you bust out an awakening, it changes your fight style completely. You know, whether it is in a giant like Susanoo form, like with Sasuke or something, or, you know, busting out
my guys Gates.
Yeah,
he gets,
like it changes
fast.
completely,
and
and like
changes the whole dynamic of the battle.
Exactly. And what's the first thing you do when you see someone bust out their awakening? You go, oh shit.
Yeah, you go, oh shit, and you change your playstyle.
So I love the fact that Xenoverse 2 has that, and everybody has something different and unique to them. And as silly as it is, you can't lie. Like, seeing the power pole and the nimbus has to be like the most unique thing that they've ever done in a Dragon Ball game, and I'm excited.
That was most unexpected for me when I saw that nimbus come out of nowhere. And like I said, from an aesthetic like, can you imagine? Like I said, I like to imagine it 3-on-3 with all of the same races just for a second, or not even all the same races. Like, you're gonna, like, this game is gonna go from, you know, just think of Xenoverse 1 fight, okay? All right, you have it in your mind? Cool. Now, Xenoverse 2, you're gonna have a giant Namekian with somebody flying around in circles on a freaking nimbus, smacking the giant Namekian with a power pole. Meanwhile, you have a Super Saiyan 3 in the background charging up a blast with a golden form. Like, this game, like, when people say that it looks exactly like Xenoverse 1, or this is just like Xenoverse 1, stop it. I hope you stub your toe, okay? Because this shit, like, it's very, very different. It's a dramatic difference from Xenoverse 1.
And one last thing I want to note is every single race in the transformations, they balance each other out. I don't know what the actual circle or balance sheet is, what beats what, but from what I'm seeing, this is every single race is an advantage over another race and a disadvantage to another race. So there's obviously some kind of like circle of balance there that I'm curious to know what beats what. I mean, it's kind of obvious because, like, you know, you got one that's a speed boost, one that's kind of like a damage boost, you got one that's a defense boost, you got one that's a complete combo changer. Like, I can't tell what beats what until I actually play the game, but there's definitely some kind of connection there of what beats what and how they balance it out, because you can't just make one race more powerful than the other one, because that kind of happened in Xenoverse 1, and I can see that they're actually working on balancing out this time around, but I don't know. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below on the flying nimbus, as well as the power pole, or just human stuff in general. Any questions you have, any observations you made yourself. And I guess for now, we wait until Gamescom, which is a couple weeks away, and then closer to October 25th, the release of Xenoverse 2
and even
in the
sooner,
US.
Even sooner, potential, well, definite
beta. Yeah, that's right.
We don't know
when the beta comes out.
Eventually.
When the beta comes out, we'll let everybody know. I believe you can actually pre-order Xenoverse 2 right now on Steam. Still waiting on PSN. Although by the time you're watching this video, it might already be on PSN, whatever. By the time I was recording this, it was already on Steam. So just keep an eye out. You know, subscribe to both of us, myself, C Reacts, and we'll keep everybody in the loop as it happens, when it happens, and all that good stuff. But is there anything else?
Well, Dino, yes, there is one thing that I have to say.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say everything, but I covered that one.
No, I wanted to end on a wah-bah, but I had to. Can you just drop the everything?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are hyped for Xenoverse 2, make sure you leave a like right below. Any other questions, comments, feedback, drop us a comment. But other than that, you guys enjoy us today, and make sure to go out and do everything.